Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. I hope you guys all had an amazing New Year's, but the holiday is over. It's time to go back to 221 Baker Street. Episode 1, The Empty Hearse, just aired, so this first video will be a non-spoilery review just because a lot of people might not have seen it yet. I'll also be doing a Q&A video tomorrow for episode 1, so if you had any specific questions about things that happened during the episode or what's going on with the characters now, be sure to write it in the comments and let me know that you want me to include that in the video. I'll also be doing a detailed breakdown of the episode either tomorrow or Friday too. So many amazing moments. Where to start? Here are my top 5. Number 5, Sherlock and Mycroft. Throughout the episode, Sherlock and Mycroft have a number of scenes that really turn the dial on mock resentment and anger all the way up to 11. You also get this sense that if Sherlock were ever to be incapacitated for any reason, Mycroft could totally step in and be a Sherlock proxy. I'm really interested to see if the series continues to play with that idea. It's so much fun to watch Sherlock and Mycroft dance around each other, but Mycroft's abilities as a detective actually come to the forefront, and I thought that was a really interesting way that the character got explored that we didn't see in series 1 or 2. Number 4, all of your fan theories are addressed. All of the Sherlock Lives theories were filmed and presented in the most hilarious possible way, or at least the most plausible Sherlock Lives theories. Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat essentially winked from behind the camera every time we saw a new theory play out on screen, and it was glorious. I don't think that they'll ever explicitly state which scenario was the correct one, just meaning that there's elements of truth in every single scenario that we saw on screen. In case you didn't see it, I actually did my own Sherlock Lives video, but my favorite one during the episode was actually the Sherlock fan club theory. I don't want to spoil it here, but it was hilarious. I mean, it was a total WTF moment. Number 3, the Mind Palace. I really like the way they turned it into a joke in this episode. To be clear, he does use it several times, but I'm talking about the joke that was made near the end of the episode. They also updated a lot of the way they show the Mind Palace visually and how it plays out on screen. I kind of thought it was unnecessary for them to go into such great detail of, what's going on in Sherlock's mind, but I do understand why they did it that way, just because they want to show new viewers just how hyperkinetic his mind is. Number 2, the new characters. We finally get to meet Mary Morstan, and I love the way they kind of teased her throughout the episode until you finally get to see her face in full frame. I almost liked watching Sherlock scan her more than I liked him trying to scan Irene Adler during Scandal. Mary isn't a big part of this episode, but because of the wedding, she's a much bigger part of episode 2, so we'll get to know her a little bit better during that. The other new character is obviously the villain, Charles Augustus Maneusen. I like the way the episode teased him just like it teased Moriarty at the end of Study in Pink, but I didn't think that we should have seen him so soon. Just a minor complaint, but I did like how we didn't really see Moriarty until Great Game. I think the only reason why they showed us the face of the villain in this episode is just because they want to speed the narrative up. Remember, during series 2, there was almost like a whole episode where they didn't use Moriarty, and my number 1 moment, the Sherlock and Watson reunion. So it's no surprise that my favorite moment is watching Sherlock and Watson get back together. It had been implied for a long time that by the end of this episode, all of the core relationships would be restored, but the real fun part was just watching the John Locke reunion play out over the course of the episode. All I could think when Sherlock first revealed himself to Watson was that scene during Scandal where Watson is just punching and throttling Sherlock on the ground. During the episode, it was like Sherlock was looking at Watson, just staring death right in the face and just not seeing it. I crept to the edge of my seat, and sure enough, the music swells up and Watson leaps at him as the camera goes into slow motion. It was so beautiful and hilarious at the same time. There were so many amazing moments in the episode, we could spend all day talking about them, but because I don't want to spoil things too much, I'll just leave a lot of those for my breakdown video tomorrow. Let me know what your favorite moment was in the comments below, whether it was the John Locke reunion or it was just watching all the fan theories kind of play out on screen. Here's my actual review though. I thought the episode was perfection, with a few minor exceptions. Just like Study in Pink, the real task of this episode was to form or, reform Team Sherlock, and it did that perfectly. I was amazed at the lengths that Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss went to address all of the fans' questions. They quite literally filmed almost every major Sherlock Lives theory and then made fun of themselves in the most hilarious ways. One of the things that makes Sherlock so great is the wordplay, and while Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman and the other actors are largely responsible for the on-screen interpretation of those jokes, it's really Mark Gatiss who deserves the credit. He was the only credited writer on the episode, so he definitely deserves the first high five, but after that, it's all Cumberbatch and Freeman. Not to leave out the rest of the cast though, Amanda Abington is a very welcome addition to Team Sherlock, but needless to say, she will be a very formidable opponent to Sherlock over Watson's affections. The sheer amount of fan service that the episode performed was amazing, and I love that they were able to do that for us without seeming too ridiculous. One of the things I've always liked about the show is how playful it allows everyone to be without the actors having to step out of character. So, big reminder, Q&A tomorrow. Be sure to write all your questions about the episode in the comments below. Episode 2 is on Sunday, and it'll be the same same drill. I'll do a non-spoilery review right after the episode airs, and then on Monday I'll do a Q&A video and then a breakdown of that episode. And it'll be the same thing that next week. Right now you can click here to watch my Sherlock list video. You can decide how right you think I was based on all the theories that they presented during the episode, but I feel like I was pretty close. And you can click here to watch my New Year's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. High fives.